The Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad in simple English, part 5 of 15, Madhu continued, chapter 2, sections 1, 2, and 3. This part deals with the progressive definition of Brahm, which is in the form of a dialogue between Drpta Balaki of the Gargya clan and King Ajatshatru of Varanasi. This part also deals with breath embodied in a person and with the two forms of reality, the formed and the formless. There lived in earlier times a conceited person, Drpta Balaki of the Gargya clan, who considered himself to be learned and wise. He went to King Ajatshatru of Varanasi and said, "I will tell you about Brahm." Ajatshatru replied, "I give you 1,000 cows for this proposal." People were excited at this and shouted, "Janak, Janak," implying that their king too had the qualities of benevolence and spiritual quest which were the hallmark of the great learned King Janak of Videha. What follows is a dialogue between Gargya and Ajatshatru. Gargya speaking first and Ajatshatru replied. Gargya began by saying, "I meditate on the being who is in the sun as Brahm." Ajatshatru, "Please do not talk about him." "I meditate on him as the all surpassing, as the head, and as the king of all beings, and as shining. He who meditates on him as such becomes all surpassing, shining, and the head and king of all beings himself." "I meditate on the being who is in the moon as Brahm." "Please do not talk about him." "I meditate on him as the great, white-robed, radiant King Som." "He who meditates on him as such always has abundant Som juice in his mane and in his subordinate sacrifices every day, and he is never short of food." "I meditate on the being who is enlightening as Brahm." "Please do not talk about him." "I meditate on him as the radiant and the powerful." "He who meditates on him as such himself becomes radiant and powerful, as do his children too." "I meditate on the being who is in the ether as Brahm." "Please do not talk about him." "I meditate on him as the full and the unmoving." "He who meditates on him as such has children and cattle, and his line never becomes extinct from this world." "I meditate on the being who is in the air as Brahm." "Please do not talk about him." "I meditate on him as the Lord, as the irresistible, and as the unvanquished army." "He who meditates on him as such becomes victorious, invincible, and conquers his enemies." "I meditate on the being who is in the fire as Brahm." "Please do not talk about him." "I meditate on him as the patient and the self-controlled." "He who meditates on him as such becomes patient and self-controlled himself, as do his children too." "I meditate on the being who is in water as Brahm." "Please do not talk about him." "I meditate on him as the likeness, as the agreeable." "He who meditates on him as such comes to be what is like him. Only agreeable things come to him, not what does not agree with him. Also from him are born what are agreeable and what are like him." "I meditate on the being who is in the mirror as Brahm." "Please do not talk about him." "I meditate on him as shining." "He who meditates on him as such becomes shining himself, as do his children too. He also outshines all those he comes in contact with." "I meditate on the sound that follows one when he walks as Brahm." "Please do not talk about that." "I meditate on him as life." "He who meditates on him as such gets a full term of life in this world, and life does not leave him before the completion of his term." "I meditate on the being who is in the quarters of heaven as Brahm." "Please do not talk about him." "I meditate on him as the second, as the one who never leaves us." "He who meditates on him as such always has companions, and his followers never leave him. They never desert him. I meditate on the being who consists of the shadow as Brahm. Please do not talk about him. I meditate on him as death. He who meditates on him as such gets a full term of life in this world. Death does not come to him before the completion of his term. Then Gargi said, I meditate on that being who is in the self as Brahm. Ajatshatru replied, please do not talk about him. I meditate on him as the self possessed. He who meditates on him as such, he becomes self possessed himself, as do his children too. Then Gargi Balaki became silent. Ajatshatru then asked him, is this all that you know? Gargi replied, yes, this is all that I know. Gargi, with what you have told me, Brahm is not known. Your knowledge of Brahm is incomplete. Then Garg said to him, please, sir, let me be your student so that I may learn about Brahm from you. Ajatshatru replied, Garg, it is highly unusual and against the normal practice and custom that a Brahmin should approach a Kshatriya as a student, thinking that he will teach him Brahm. However, since you ask in all sincerity, I will tell you about Brahm. Then taking Gargi by the hand, Ajatshatru rose. The two together came to a person who was asleep. They called out to him with these names to wake him: Great, white-robed, radiant, Som. The man did not wake up. They then shook him with the hand and he woke up. Ajatshatru asked, Gargi, when this person, who consists of intelligence and consciousness, fell asleep, where was it that he went? And from where did he come back? This also Gargi did not know. Ajatshatru continued, when this person fell asleep like this, then he, who consists of consciousness, by his own consciousness, took and absorbed within himself the functions of the breath and the sense organs and rested with them in the space within the heart. When the person takes in and absorbs these senses within himself like this, then he is said to be asleep. When breath is controlled, all the other senses are also controlled. Then speech is controlled, the eye is controlled, the ear is controlled, and the mind is controlled. When a person moves about in his dreams, it is in the worlds of his dreams in which he moves about. And these are the worlds he enjoys. Here in his dreams, he becomes a great king or a great Brahman. He enters states high and low. Just as a great king takes his people with him and moves about in his country as he pleases, so too here in his dreams this sleeping one takes his senses with him and moves about in his own body as he pleases. Again, when he falls sound asleep, he knows nothing whatsoever and comes back again to his body through the 72,000 nerves called Hita, which extend from the heart to the whole body, and he remains within the body. Just as a youth or a great king or a great Brahmin might rest when he has reached the summit of bliss, so too does the sleeping one rest in sleep, having reached the summit of his bliss. Just as a spider moves along the thread it produces, and just as small sparks come out of the fire, so too from this self come out all breaths, all worlds, all gods, and all beings. Its secret meaning is the truth of truth. The vital breaths are the truth, and their truth is the self, which is the ultimate truth. Truly, he who knows the newborn with its home, with its covering, with its post and also its tether, which binds it to the post, such a one is successful at keeping his 7 hostile kinsmen at bay. These 7 hostile kinsmen are the 7 organs, the 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the 2 nostrils, and the mouth. The vital breath is the baby. Its home is this body. Its covering is this head. Strength is its post, and food is its tether. 7 gods stand near him to serve him. Through the 3 streaks in the eye, Rudra is united with him and serves him. Through the water in the eye, Parjanya is united with him and serves him. Through the pupil of the eye, Aditya, the sun, is united with him and serves him. By the black of the eye, the night is united with him. By the white of the eye, Indra is united with him. By the lower eyelash, earth is united with him. And by the upper eyelash, heaven is united with him. He who knows this, his food never diminishes, and he always has food in plenty. On this, there is the following verse. There is a bowl which has its mouth below and its bottom up. All different kinds of knowledge have been put in it. On the rim of this bowl sit 7 sages, and speech, which communicates with Brahm, is the 8th. The bowl, which has its mouth below and its bottom up, is the head of a person. This is the bowl with its mouth below and its bottom up. All different kinds of knowledge have been put in it, refers to the organs which represent the different and various kinds of knowledge. On its rim sit 7 sages, means that on the rim of the bowl sit the 7 organs which are the sages. The organ of speech is the 8th, and it communicates with the Vedas. The 2 ears are Gautam and Bhardwaj. One ear is Gautam and the other is Bhardwaj. The 2 eyes are Vishwamitra and Jamdagni. One eye is Vishwamitra and the other is Jamdagni. The 2 nostrils are Vashisht and Kashyap. One nostril is Vashisht and the other is Kashyap. The tongue is Atri, for it is by the tongue that food is eaten. Truly, eating is the same as the name Atri. He who knows this becomes the eater of everything. Everything becomes his food. There are in reality only 2 forms of the Supreme Brahm, the gross and the subtle, the formed and the formless, the mortal and the immortal, the limited and the unlimited, the defined and the undefined. The gross form is that which is other than the air and the ether. This is the formed Brahm, mortal, limited, and defined. The essence of this is the sun that shines, for it is the essence of the defined. The subtle, the formless, is the air and the ether, the atmosphere. It is formless, immortal, unlimited, and undefined. The essence of this, which is subtle, is this person who is in the sun, for he is the essence of the undefined. This is with reference to the gods. Now with reference to the self, to the body. The gross form is only this, that is other than the material air and ether that is in the body. It is mortal, limited, and defined. The essence of this is the I, for it is the essence of the defined. Now with reference to the subtle, the formless, it is the breath and the space that is in the body, which is within the self. It is immortal, unlimited, and undefined. The essence of this subtle is this person who is in the right eye, for he is the essence of the undefined. The form of this person is like a saffron colored robe. It is like white wool. It is like the scarlet colored Indragop insect. It is like a flame of fire. It is like a white lotus. It is like a flash of lightning. He who knows this as such, he attains splendor like a flash of lightning. there is this teaching of Brahm, which is that Brahm is Neti, Neti, meaning that Brahm is not this, not this, for there is no other or more appropriate description of Brahm than this Neti, Neti, since Brahm cannot be defined in any positive way but only through the process of elimination, saying he is not this, he is not this, since there is nothing higher than this Brahm, there is nothing higher than this Atma, there is nothing higher than this Self, and therefore he is not this, not this, for he is beyond all affirmation. All that we can say for Brahm is that he is the truth of truth. Truly, the vital breath is the truth, and Brahm is the truth of that truth. End of part 5 of 15. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.